Hello, welcome to Sky Sweaty Record Review, episode 93. It's the only new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after getting out of the gym. Now, I'm not going to be reviewing a new album. I do that all the time. I've done it over 90 times. Check out my reviews if you want to hear what I think. You see, part of the reason I do this show is I'm a child of the 90s. I grew up in the 90s. I'm 41 years old. And so that was when I grew up. You know, Pavement and Nirvana, they were my gods. They were what I listened to. They were what formed my worldview. And now I'm at an age where Hollywood and culture is selling me the nostalgia the way it sold my parents the nostalgia of the 50s. And it sold my brothers the nostalgia of the 70s and 80s. And this endless piling of nostalgia on nostalgia. I'm not going to go after nostalgia as a thing. Other people have done that, okay? Not even after 90s nostalgia. Listen, I worked at Blockbuster Video. In Captain Marvel, by the way, there'll be spoilers. Don't watch the movie, or don't watch this before you watch the movie if you're going to watch it. You know, her landing in a Blockbuster Video, that's funny. I worked there. I still know my employee number, 2900-2737-229. I worked there in Watertown, Massachusetts. It turns out it turned into a Jenny Craig, and so did the Papagenos right next to it. Kind of funny. And, you know, seeing Radio Shack, okay, that's all right. I mean, I believe Radio Shack is one of the two reasons that America has its empire. Radio Shack and 24-Hour Breakfast. But the music nostalgia in the movie is painfully bad. And let me tell you why. Culture matters, okay? These details matter. If you're marketing a movie to me, Mr. 41-year-old taking his kids to the movie, and you're going to be throwing all of these references at me, then you have to do it right. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, hey, remember this musician? And I'm go, yeah, I remember this. But then have the dates off, or pair things together, or have it not match up. It doesn't work. Nostalgia works because it connects with something in you that reminds you of a different time, a time where you were, where you remember the parts where you were happier. I was way sadder in the 90s. It was terrible. I hated growing up. But I'm alive now, I'm happy now, and seeing this reminds me of the good times, of hearing Nirvana for the first time, or watching them for the first time, let's be honest. You know, all these great feelings that we had. But this movie doesn't do it. It's terrible at it, and it deserves more flack. And listen, I'm all for the fact that this movie is an amazing masterpiece of diversity and inclusion. It's such a masterpiece of diversity and inclusion that I can attack the movie without even feeling bad. You know, it passes the Bechdel test. It passes all sorts of diversity quotients and all that. It's awesome for that. I'm super happy this movie exists. I went and saw it with my daughter, and I'm so happy. Thank you, Disney, Marvel, society as a whole, for making movies that are more inclusive. Now, get the damn 90s nostalgia right. There's a moment, okay, where Captain Marvel is talking on a phone, and behind her, there's all these album posters put up behind her. First of all, why are they there? Why were there random concert posters? They weren't near a record store, so they were just kind of placed there, and they were very clear, and you could read them. It reminded me a lot of Downtown Disney. If you ever been to Orlando, or the House of Blues, where they try to make it look old-fashioned and cool by intentionally scoring it and making it look like it's older, but it just doesn't work. And what do they have? Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by Smashing Pumpkins, and right below it, Rid of Me by PJ Harvey. Listen, I love those albums. I listened to those albums. Those albums don't go together. They just don't. PJ Harvey released a different album that year, To Bring You My Love. For those of us who grew up, who are listening to music, who are paying attention, where these things matter, I see them and I instantly go, okay, I connect with that. To Bring You My Love. Where's To Bring You My Love? Why is Rid of Me here? That's a totally different phase of PJ Harvey's career. She hadn't broken out. She hadn't become the big star. She wasn't on the same wavelength as Smashing Pumpkins when she released Rid of Me. And again, I get it. I'm nitpicking. Make fun of the nerd and share this video for the old nerd who's talking about music. But culture matters. Time matters. If you're basing a whole movie on the premise of, hey, do you remember? Hey, do you remember? Don't go chasing waterfalls? I remember. Then do it right. Another point. This is a much bigger point. This character is from the late 80s, early 90s. She disappeared in 91, right? Or 89. I forget which one. She was from a musical era before grunge. before the 90s, okay? You even see a flashback and she's wearing a Guns N' Roses t-shirt. All of the music in the movie comes post 91, post Nirvana Nevermind. The music that destroyed Guns N' Roses, that destroyed hair metal, that destroyed her musical context. And yet, every time she's doing something, they play some music from the 90s. It's totally disassociated. It doesn't make sense. Why would she be kicking butt listening to I'm Just a Girl by No Doubt? Why would she be doing that? How does that connect to her? The most important moment of the movie where she inexplicably gets powers because she wants them. Sorry, I'm nitpicking about the movie. I don't care. It plays Come As You Are by Nirvana. What does that have to do with that character's experience? Nothing. The character should be listening to, I don't know, Sweet Child O' Mine. Or Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Like, if this character is a Rip Van Winkle character who comes from the past and is here in a different time, then her musical context should be from that period of time. It's trying to have its cake and eat it too. The only thing that it really got right was that she was wearing a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt, like as a fashion accessory, which is basically what people did in the 90s. Very few people actually liked them, but it was a cool t-shirt and everyone liked the design. But going back to this idea of her having her big moment with Come As You Are by Nirvana, why doesn't this work? Imagine a movie that takes place in 1968. Okay, and all the music is Jimi Hendrix and the White Album and all the hippie music and all that Grateful Dead stuff, okay? And the star of the movie was Unfrozen from 1959, okay? So the star of the movie, their last musical reference was Buddy Holly and Elvis. And the great unveiling, the scene where Little Miss Buddy Holly, Little Miss Elvis has her awakening, is to All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. It doesn't match up. These were different cultural moments. And it's jarring. Culture matters. The culture of the 90s absolutely matters. But now it's just getting rolled into just one thing. You know who I blame? I blame Adam Sandler. The movie The Wedding Singer was an amazing success. It marked the end of Adam Sandler's creative period. He released 2 comedy albums, which are 2 of the funniest things of the 90s, actually. They're All Gonna Laugh at You is one of my favorite comedy things anywhere. But The Wedding Singer was all 80s nostalgia. But it was lazy. It was like, oh, let's have Michael Jackson's Glove and mix it in with Def Leppard and mix it in with Bon Jovi. And who cares? It's all just the 80s. That TV show, The Goldbergs. Oh, 1980, whatever. We can mix all these things together. I guess people enjoy it. Maybe people are, this is going to sound arrogant, maybe people are stupider than I think. But I think we deserve more from our nostalgia. Have it be consistent with the characters. Now listen, I've heard people complain that the song by Hole that was at the end of Captain Marvel came out after the movie was filmed. That was a 98 song, and the movie takes place in 95. That sort of bugs me, but it's more that Hole would mean nothing to this character. So okay, there you go. There's my rant. I don't know if anyone wants to watch it, anyone cares about it, but there it is. And also, as I mentioned in my last video, they left out Pavement, which is just, that's a very important band in the 90s. Oh my God. I really hated that movie. I really wanted to like it, but I really hated it. And also, like, this is just how she acted all the time. Okay. Anyways, I'll get back to more music, and I will say what I always say. There's the camera.